In the session with Mr. Casales, we talk about organization and entry forms. The organizational structure is the way that how functions, hierarchies, and responsibilities are established inside a company for its efficient operation. And these have three steps: the formal division of specific units of operation, the organizational chart, the responsibilities assignment for decision taking, and coordination mechanisms to work between areas and functions. The ideal structure is based on mission, vision, principles, SWOT analysis, the main interests, and growing and development. We talk about the entry forms also, that is the most important stages during the process of internalization, of how you could get in another country, and the entry form that you have to choose. The two basic decisions: which foreign market, when, on which scale, and which entry form to select. The entry time, you have to the brand positioning, generate sales and volume, the financial learning curve before others, and build loyalty because it's another market. And the disadvantages is an initial cost, adaptation process, and promotional cost. The to enter scale is an important decision because you depend on how fast the company is willing to penetrate a market. And we talk about an example of 7-Eleven that they have to enter in Mexico, and the way to enter in the entry forms is the franchises, joint venture, export, subsidiary, licensing. The advantages is that with the export is that they reduce the cost in the final market, risk experience. The disadvantage, the production cost in domestic market, the transportation cost. And we talk about the turnkey project that we use an example of Farmacias Guadalajara, that they facilitate the construction, but it's a big risk that you will share information. That is always a risk. The licensing, we use an example of Disney, that they deal with a license to share their image with other practices. The franchise, then they reduce the cost. The joint ventures, that the knowledge of local response by the local partner. This have a risk also with sharing information. The subsidiaries, that it's an advantage because you are independent and you control your own business, and you don't share information. That is an advantage. The disadvantage could be the cost and the learning curve because you are alone. The subsidiary can be seen as acquisition. Then this have advantage that it is the speed, overtaking periods, and reduces the risk. The disadvantage is the high prices, the cultural problems, and the management differences. We talk about also the strategic alliances, that the advantage is that they facilitate entry, share costs, create synergy, and share technology. But this has also the disadvantage that the control, the agreements, and the information sharing, that is always a risk that you have to take. And that's all we talk about with Mr. Casale.